There you go. Now,
All right,
hi
cool.
Laura, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Welcome to this episode of Vestibular Talks. I like to thank you because I believe these videos help many people that might be going through similar conditions as what you and me experience on a daily basis.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you're doing them. I've found quite a nice, welcoming community, both on Instagram and some other sites and whatnot. So this is just a real nice addition because there's not a whole lot out there. So thank you for
Eh,
doing this.
Sure. No, my pleasure. Laura, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'll be 46 next month, and I know I don't look like it,
No,
right?
you look way younger. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now that we got that squared away, Meniere's disease does not make you look older, but it does make you look a little bit larger. I'm on prednisone. I'm on my 3rd month of prednisone, so I'm getting that very round face that I'm not used to. So that's my plight. I woke up one morning almost completely deaf in my right ear, and thought, this is odd. Something is definitely not right. So I went straight to the emergency room, and through a course of several weeks, then it was determined that it is in fact Meniere's. But I had noticed some things prior to that too.
Okay.
Probably for about 2 years, I've had really bad. Some people say tinnitus, some people say tinnitus. I guess it's like tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had this massive whooshing in my ears that I've been complaining about for the better part of 2 years. And
Okay.
also lots of like odd ocular things too, like floaters that are in my line of vision. I didn't know if that was part of it because I do get migraines as well.
Okay.
But I think that was kind of the beginning of things, way back 2 years ago when all of that odd sound issues and floaters started.
Okay.
So it's nice to have a diagnosis though.
Yes, absolutely. So your symptoms began about 2 years ago. Nothing previous to that, normal life, pretty healthy, other than the migraines that you got sometimes.
I'm far from normal. I've had pretty amazingly weird things happen. I had, a toxic megacolon and had to have my colon removed. I've
Oh
had
wow.
migraines since 2008. And just, I also Tourette syndrome as well. So I have some neurological problems that don't impede any part of my life, but it's just something that I have. So I think
Yes.
genetics play a large role in this. My great uncle had Meniere's disease. And,
Oh, okay.
and I tend to get like every single thing that my family members had. So
Yeah.
one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Laura, so 2 years ago, the sensation in the ears, like the whoosh,
Full,
and
the
the
fullness, almost like my whole head was like flooded in water. Yeah. And, I would literally jump up and down trying to get the
to get it
water
out.
out. There was no water there. So the whooshing though was really the thing that tipped me off. Like this isn't normal. And there would be periods of vertigo and dizziness where I'd be lying down and thought that, oh my God, I'm gonna fall out of the bed. I don't drink and I I don't do drugs. So it was a little bit bizarre. Those didn't happen very frequently. The whooshing
Mhm.
was almost all the time, but it's recently that I'm experiencing some of the sudden vertigo. In fact, I was interviewing a candidate for a teaching position. I'm a high school principal. I should have said that earlier. I'm a high school principal, and I also run my own business for hair and makeup. But I was interviewing a candidate and fell. That was fun.
Completely
All
just drop.
completely dropped. It was almost.
Wow.
This was like a couple of weeks ago. It was almost like someone picked me up and threw me up in the air and spun me around. It came out of nowhere.
Wow.
I was having a bad hearing day that day
Okay.
because my hearing loss is so it's so fluctuating right now between like I'm down at like 80, minus 80 decibels in the low tones all the way up to 20, so it goes
Okay.
back and forth. And it also is in the mid tones in my left ear. So I have an appointment on Friday to get another audiogram and to kind of go from there. But I was having a really bad hearing day that day. And that's when the drop happened. So I hope that those things don't happen anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Laura, and is there like a sign or something that your body lets you know before the vertigo hits? Like, is
Not
there
that
anything that you? Mhm.
not that time at all. And that was just like I said, a bad hearing day. It was a little bit warm. That's one thing. I know that I was sweating, and so
Okay.
temperature can sometimes,
Temperature can affect it, yes.
yes. So, but that's it. I mean, if I would have had I needed like a billboard that was going to say, "You are going to fall."
In 5 seconds, hang on, yeah.
Give me a second. So yeah.
Laura, so the ear whooshing, the visual disturbances,
Yes.
have those subsided with the between the 2 years and now, or you still experience those?
Unfortunately, I do still experience those.
Okay.
I can say that the whooshing, it kind of is more, it's more pronounced when I'm having a bad hearing day, or right before, right before the hearing just goes completely. The
Yes.
ocular things I always have, especially if I'm looking at a light background. So, and I don't know if that's like my migraines happening or what. So
It's but yes, it's funny because it's hard to describe these symptoms to someone that doesn't experience them.
no.
So when I try to explain to my family that if I look at a white background or a white wall,
Yeah.
I see things that aren't there, and they don't get it. They don't get
They
it.
say, Johan, you're crazy.
You're great. Exactly. That's how you feel sometimes, because these symptoms play not only stress in your physical body but in your mind as well. It's very straining in your mind.
Yes.
So Laura, so you mentioned that you have an official diagnosis already. It's
Do.
Meniere's.
And along with that official diagnosis, Johan, I got all these fun medicines, all this good stuff. In fact, I just picked up a few more. Okay. I'm not used to this, but I was doing some research of my own, because I am in the beginning stages of this, so I'm in like full research mode, find out whatever I can. That's how it led me to you. But I did take Zoloft for like 30 years or something like that, and
Okay.
I was reading some stuff about that, which was interesting. But yeah, so all of these medicines I'm going to try not to take them as much as possible, because I am still taking prednisone, and I have another month to go with that. But a Diazide for, I guess it's like a water pill,
Yes.
triamterene.
Yeah.
I was an English teacher, but that's not the science stuff. And then the lorazepam, and then the Zofran for So I guess that's the present cocktail for these. And then I guess on Friday when I go visit my ENT, because I can't get to see the specialist until mid-October.
Yeah, that's standard.
And then they'll do some tilt tests or whatever they do. All of that.
Laura,
looking forward to those.
my energy, my positive energy is with you, because those tests are necessary, of course, to amplify the diagnosis.
Yeah.
But they are not fun. They are but they are necessary. They are a necessary evil for sure.
Right. But she did say she did call and say that she's about 99% sure. It's like classic Meniere. She's like, everything you say, there's like one thing that it leads to. So, and I did have all of the other testing done. Everything's fine. Physically, the MRIs with the contrast and all of that stuff, it's all good. So
the blood work and all of that.
All of it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm glad that at least all of that is good, because these conditions can create a lot of anxiety, because you start to think, do I have cancer? Do I have a MS? Do I have something that is more critical, of course? But so I'm glad that all the testing came up clean, and that you're good, and that is Meniere's. It's Meniere's. So in the vestibular disorders, there are many of them, as you know, vestibular migraines, vestibular neuritis, BPPV, which is the most common one. Right. And I feel that Meniere's is one of the most misunderstood ones, and probably one of the most harsh ones, the most intense ones, because the other ones, it's got
the coolest name though.
It does.
I'm sorry.
And it is such a beast, because for example, mine is vestibular migraines. So although they are hard and they are difficult to live with, they are manageable. Meniere's is a little bit more like it's kind of like really hard to predict when it's going to attack you, when a vertigo attack is going to hit you. So that is why it's so unpredictable. It's so difficult. So I admire you a lot because you're working. You're a principal at a school that requires a lot of stress in your shoulders. Like you have a lot of responsibility. So that's why I wanted to do this interview with you, because it will show people that even though you're battling this condition, you're still trying your best to live a normal life, working, functioning, so that your story might motivate a lot of other people to move forward, to say, hey, I have this, but I can still move on with my life and make the best of it.
Right. I have noticed that because my life has always been go, go, go. And this is a humbling experience. It has been, and it kind of makes you put things into perspective. I'm being forced to slow down, and that's not a bad thing, because at the rate that I was going, I was going to burn out at some point anyways. The same thing with my colon issues. God, I think, told me, look, you got to slow down. So I'm going to have this happen so that you can get a much needed break. So I think maybe at some point in recent years, recent months, that there is a need for me to take my health a lot more seriously. This is putting things into that frame, and I'm kind of grateful for it. So no, it's not going to slow me down, but I am going to take a much needed step back from things that are not essential in my life, and stuff that's not really serving me well or serving others well. Teaching is teaching, and principaling is primary, but I do also have a business. I do hair and makeup for brides on the weekends, so I work 7 days a week.
You have a lot on your plate, yes.
And a 17-year-old who's going to be going off to college. But I will be kind of taking a break from those things, or at least whittling them down to something a little bit more manageable than every weekend. And that's a long time coming. So, I think you're given what you need when you need it.
Yes, I agree with you. And it puts life into perspective, because, as you mentioned, you start to value in your life more what's important and put aside what's not as important.
Right.
Laura, a lot of people with vestibular conditions, they talk about dietary changes, supplements, and things that they help them. Meditation is a big one, like yoga. Is there anything that you have found other than the medication that has helped you deal with this condition?
Yes, and I'm learning every day. So there's one person on Instagram, and I just want to give a shout out to him. I don't want to say his name, but he's been kind of cool with really taking the time to tell me what he has done for his Meniere's. And I just, on his advice, got a B6 and B5. So I'm starting that, and he said also lysine is something to try. And you mentioned a meditation. Let me show you what I got. Hold on. So I got one of these jobbies that on the internet, and I'm gonna try, like, kind of first with a shirt on, of course, because these things hurt. Laying down and kind of meditating in that manner, and I do yoga as it is. But then I saw some people with these mats with their hands on here doing yoga. So we'll see how that goes.
Let us know. Let us know how that works out for you, because you know what? Anything that can help. It's especially if it's not harming you. Anything that can help will be welcome, of course.
Right. I have my office and rooms filled with plants and salt lamps, and just trying to do some things to improve the quality of my life, even without having this issue. So getting rid of salt in my diet, trying to eat more whole foods. The same guy who's giving me tips on the vitamins is kind of encouraging me to go vegan, and that's a tough thing to do for a carnivore, but I am interested in maybe trying it out. So
the one thing that I'm trying for myself is a mixture of the keto diet and the paleo diet. So I've eliminated a lot of like gluten, lactose, so anything like that. Beef I eat every now and then, but chicken and fish are great for your health. So so going vegan might be
it's a little that's a big jump.
Something that's quite very restrictive diet, of course. So but hey, anything that helps.
Baby steps, right? I'm willing to try anything to get to where I need to be. So
yes, Laura, you mentioned that you're a mom to a 17-year-old.
And
how has this condition impacted your life with your family as a mom, and as well as your social life with your social circle, your friends, and
right.
your professional life?
Well, so far in the professional life, aside from that one episode, it hasn't really affected it at all because I've been educating people. As I learn about it, I'm educating them. So I think there's a lot of empathy that's, given with just being honest and transparent. I'm not embarrassed by it, and I think you can tell I'm not like somebody who's going to, be shy and retiring in the corner. With my daughter and whatnot, she is preoccupied as a 17-year-old and going off to college, but she has dealt with some issues of her own, which I think make her more empathetic towards my situation too. So she just kind of rolls with it. I can't really say that, with my husband, he's empathetic. I had to actually force him to read some stuff about it because getting a man to read some stuff sometimes is hard. But once a diagnosis was made and it's like, look, this is what I have. I need you to, to get on board with this. So it's like getting everybody's salt levels down a little bit more, getting everybody to eat healthy. So it's been more like a all hands on deck kind of an effort than just feeling like I have to do everything myself.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. No, that's great. Something that you mentioned, and and something that is worth noting, you have an Instagram page where you are creating a lot of awareness for your condition, and something that
a little private Instagram page.
And something that I wanted to say that you mentioned earlier is that someone online helped you with directing you to vitamins and meditation. So that is something that I really admire about people online. That a lot of them are very compassionate. Sure. And they want to try to help you out, providing you with the advice that has helped them. So that's great. That's great that there is that sense of community, because these conditions can be very scary. You feel very, very alone when this person hits you. Yes. So I'm very thankful that person kind of like guided you on the right path.
You probably can think about who it is because you're friends with that person too. The one about, don't eat the meat kind of thing. But there are so many of those people, and I admire them too. Let me tell you.
All right, Laura. So what does the future hold for you? What's in your plans for your future? What do you expect to do to stop this condition from basically saying, hey, I'm here and now I'm part of your life, and you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna live my life even with you here with me?
Well, I kind of look at it like someone who comes into your house and overstays their welcome, and then, a few weeks or months go by and that person's still sitting on your couch. What are you going to do? Right. There's not going to be a way for me to kick this thing out. I don't think. Hopefully at some point there will be some kind of a cure, but that would be great. But with what I've been told with my family history and the way that my Meniere's has been progressing is that I'll likely have a bunch of hearing loss at the very least. So looking into like cochlear implants, and they do make some in some really flashy colors, which is cool. I'm just not going to be afraid of it, I think, and just kind of go with it and ride it out. And whatever happens, it's going to just be a part of me. And, I've always been someone who's been very kind of open and transparent with my life and accepting of other people and all kinds of different things. So it's just one of those ways of kind of living what I'm speaking and kind of walking the walk.
Right. No, that's fantastic. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the people that are watching you, especially people that have children and are struggling with this condition, because it's overwhelming to have to deal with this condition and at the same time try to be a mom or a dad to your children? Is there anything that you'd like to say to them before we go? Really,
to their caregivers, to have compassion and to have some understanding by being educated on it. I know that when I haven't felt well before, with the migraines especially, having to cancel plans, having to put things on hold, telling my daughter, no, I can't do that right now, because I've had migraines for forever, so it's affected her life a lot. And not taking that too hard. We tend to feel a lot of guilt, and I think guilt is something that we all kind of need to let go of. We're doing the best that we can, and just keeping that perspective in mind that if you did feel well, you wouldn't have to bail, you wouldn't have to cancel, and I don't know, I guess just keeping your mind about you that this isn't something that you chose, it kind of chose you, and moving forward, always moving forward.
All right. No, thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. Again, thank you for doing this interview. And I love just your intake on life, like your energy. You're so upbeat. Like I would have never guessed that you're dealing with something as strong as Meniere's and also migraines on top of that.
Yeah.
Because you have such a like positive energy about you that is contagious. Like I can't stop smiling. I keep smiling and I don't even know why. So thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And
I
yeah,
appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Right, and we'll keep in touch. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks, Johan.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.